Hello and welcome to this class. Today we are going to see more details about image filtering. Just to have a recap, I just want to briefly tell what we exactly mean by filtering or spatial filtering, and then we will discuss few more details about it. So in summary, you can say that when we are talking about spatial filtering, we have an image where we want to perform the filtering. We have a filter with the help of which we want to perform the filtering, and with the help of filter weights, when we apply them on the image, we get a filtered image. And to perform the filtering all over the image, you have to take your filter and you have to shift it from one side to the another side, and you have to compute the values at each and every possible pixel that you have in your image. Okay. So if you remember, we also discussed in case of spatial filtering, at the end we discussed two important operations. One was convolution and another was correlation. In case of correlation, this filter was used as it is, and it was placed all over the image at all possible pixels, and the values were computed, and the when you put all the newly computed values for all the pixels together, you get a new image. Okay. In case of convolution, the procedure was very much same. Again, there was a mask or a filter which was moved all over the image to compute the new values for the pixels. But in the case of convolution, the filter was first rotated by 180 degree, or you can see that it was flipped with respect to vertical and horizontal axis, and then it was used. Okay. When we let's say when we say filtering and we want to compute the new value for all the pixels, we can simply say that the image is actually being operated by the given filter. Let's say and we have computed the correlation. Okay. Or we can say that with the help of given filter, we have operated the given filter on the image, and we have computed all the convolution values. Okay. Again, I'm just highlighting the difference. So in correlation, we are not rotating the mask. In case of convolution, we are rotating the mask. But let us consider that your mask is symmetric mask. Okay. I mean, even though you rotate it, you get the same values. For example, if you just consider, let's say, a very simple mask like this, where even though if you rotate it, let's say this is 1, this is 1, this is 1 here, this is 1 here, and this is 0 here, this is 0 here, this is 0 here, this is 0 here, right? Sorry, and this one is 1. This particular place is 1, and all the corners have zeros. Okay. Now for this filter, if you let's say I mean do the flipping or do the rotation, after rotation also you will get the same thing. Okay. So such type of filters are called the symmetric filters. So if they are symmetric, if the filter with which you are operating is symmetric, then whether you say you are performing correlation or you say you are performing convolution, it is going to be same. Okay. Now, since convolution has certain advantages over the correlation when we are doing this kind of operation, so normally when we filter any given image with the help of a given filter or a weight matrix, we say that we don't say that the image is being correlated with the given filter. We say that image is being convolved by the given filter. Okay. And if let's say your image is symmetric image, or this mask is a symmetric mask, then in that case, whether you say that you are calculating correlation or you say you are calculating convolution, this is going to be same. So please remember, this is a very important point. So now whenever we filter the given image with the help of a given filter, we normally say that we are convolving the image with the filter. So when we say we are convolving the image with the help of filter, this means You are taking your filter, first you are rotating your filter, and then you are taking your filter and placing all over your image, and you are computing the new values. Okay. Now, since if your filter is a symmetric filter, in that case, even after rotation, you are going to get the same value, same kind of weight matrix, or same kind of filter. So, if you are saying that in such cases, we are saying that you are convolving the filter. You are convolving the image with the help of given filter. It is same as saying that you are filtering the image by the given filter. Because what is the normal procedure of filtering? It is just taking the filter and placing the filter all over your image at possible pixels, and then computing the new values for pixels. And the same thing will happen when you say that you are convolving the image with the help of this given filter. And since your filter is symmetric, so even though you are saying convolution, but it is using the same mask, because after rotation also you are going to get the same mask. Okay, so I'm reiterating, this is a very important point to note here. So whenever we filter any image by a given filter, normally we say that we are convolving the given image by the given filter. Okay, and this is true when your filter is symmetric filter. If your filter is not a symmetric filter, that means after rotation you get a new kind of filter values or the weight values in your filter, then this is not true. But normally we'll say that whenever we are doing filtering, our filter will be a symmetric filter. I mean, like almost in all the cases, you'll find that the filter is going to be symmetric filter. So in that case, if we say that we are convolving the given image with the help of given filter, it is same as saying that you are filtering the image by given filter. Okay, so this is very important. Please remember this. The spatial filters that we have, they can be actually broadly classified in three kinds of filters. One kind of category is called convolution-based filter, and as the name suggests, in these kind of filters, when you are filtering your image with the help of that filter, you will be basically performing convolution operation. That means you will have a filter, you will have an image, and you will convolve the image by the given filter. So this is what you are going to do when you are going to filter your image by using convolution-based filters. Okay, we'll see more details. And another category of filter which is called order statistics filter, where we are not going to compute the new value of a given pixel as we did in the previous case here. If you remember what we do in case of convolution, when we are computing convolution, we are basically computing we compute the weighted average of the pixel intensities of the pixels which are in the neighborhood of a particular pixel. Okay. So in case of order statistics, we are in the case of filters which are order statistics based filters, here also we are going to consider a mask. That means we are going to consider a neighborhood, but from the neighborhood pixels, we are not going to get new kind of intensity for the central pixel by taking the weighted combination. We'll see that we will adopt a different kind of mechanism here to get the new value for the central pixels, where you are actually trying to compute the where you are trying to do basically the filtering. Okay, so these are the two filters which fall fall under this category. There are two examples. You can have a few more. So median filter is one filter which is order statistics based filter, and there is another filter which is called rank order filter. This is also order statistics based filter. And then you can have a obvious to think about a hybrid version where you use convolution based filter as well as the order statistics filters. Okay, so you can have a third category which is a hybrid filter, which is the combination of actually about two types of filters. So now let us see the examples for them. For the convolution based filter, we are going to see two examples here. One is average or mean filter, and another is Gaussian filter. And in order statistics filter, we have median and rank order filter, as I just said. And hybrid filter is any combination of the above filters that we have here. So let us first discuss the first category of filters, which are the convolution based filters. And let us first take the average filter. And this average filter is also sometimes called mean filter or box filter. We'll see why it is called mean filter or box filter. I think this mean is clear because whether you say average or mean, they are telling the same thing. But we'll see why we are calling them as box filter, and then next we'll see the Gaussian filter. So let us see the average or mean filter. So whenever you are going to define a filter, you have to define a mask. And if you again see this, these filters, you are saying that these are convolution based filters. That means you are going to perform convolution. So when you are going to perform convolution, you need to have a matrix with the help of which you are going to perform the convolution. So here, in case of average or mean filter, we define our filter matrix like this. And this is an example of 3x3 filter. If you have 5x5 filter, or let's say 7x7 filter, you will have more values. So in case of average or mean filter, whatever filter you have, in that filter, all your values will be equal values. Like this is one here, this is one here, this is one here. All the values that you see here, they are all equal. Okay. And if you sum them, you will find that they will sum to 1. Okay, so this is the way which you find filter matrix for average filter. Here, all the entries are positive entries. They all sum to 1. And if you, let's say, operate this filter on your image, what you are going to get, if you let's say assume that this is your image given, and in this given image you are operating at this particular place by putting this filter there. So basically you will be multiplying all the intensities that you have here at all these places by these respective values, and then you will sum them. So if you see what you are going to do, basically you are going to multiply 1 by 9 to all the values that you are going to get from here, and then you are going to sum them. So that is actually going to be nothing but the average of all the values that you have in this 3x3 region in your image. Okay. So since you are going to get average or mean of the values that you have at this particular place in your image, this filter is called average filter or the mean filter. Okay. And in any filter, if the weight values are all same, then that filter is called box filter. So in this case also, you find that all the weight values in a filter, they all are same. So that is why we say that this is a box filter. Okay. Okay. So when you operate with this box filter, what kind of effect you are going to see on your image? So you see that as I just mentioned, that this filter is going to give you average or mean of the pixel intensities that you are going to consider to compute the values. So when you are computing the mean of the given values, normally you will find that, I mean, this is always you will find that average will be more than the value, the lesser values that you have in your set, and it will be lower than the higher values that you have in your set. Okay. So for example, let's say here in your image, let us talk here itself. So let's say in your image you have considered all the values, I mean a 3x3 neighborhood here, and then you are computing, let's say, the new value for this central pixel here. Okay. Let's say you are going to you are trying to compute new value for this central pixel. So this value, and let us say you have all the values that you have here, they are just for simplicity, let's say 3, 4, 8, 7, 10, 1, 2, or 3, or something like that. Okay, and let's say in the central pixel you have 4. Okay, so whatever mean you are going to get for from these values, that is going to be more than the values, the small values that you have here. Let's say 1 is a very small value here, 2 is a very small value here. So when you compute the mean, it is going to lie somewhere, I mean, at the middle of the range that you have considered. Okay. So in some sense, you can say that this value, the value of the central pixel that you have here, this is going to decrease with respect to whatever it has previously, because mean is always going to be less than the higher values, and it is going to be more than the lesser value that you have in your I mean in the neighborhood that you are considering. So that means whenever, I mean, you put these values here, like you say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and so on. You compute, and then you are going to divide them by 9 here. So you are going to get some value which is more than the lesser value that you have here in your neighborhood, and less than the higher values that you have in your neighborhood. Okay. So in some sense, you can say that this central pixel is going to actually, let us say your lower values are something like this. I mean, let us say they are denoted like this, and the higher values are, let's say, somewhere here. So what middle value you are going to get? Your middle value is going to lie somewhere here, which is you can say in some sense close to the neighboring pixels, because it is not as high as you have the values here, and it is not as low as the low values you have here, somewhere in the middle. So that is why it is close to the values which are less, and also it is close to the values which are more. So in some sense, you can say that you are in some sense trying to kind of when you are performing the average in your image, for the pixels which are having very high values, you are going to decrease their intensities, and the pixels which are having high value in your image, you are going to increase their intensity. Okay. So what kind of effect you will see in your image after performing such kind of operation? You will see that the higher values have come down and the lower values have come up. So it will create a kind of smoothing in your image. Smoothing basically means that removing the sharp details. So as I told you in this example, suppose you have intensities like this, and on other side, let's say you have some intensities like this, and when you perform average here, you get an intensity which is here, like this, right? So whatever the sharpness you had, whatever the jump you had here with respect to intensities, with respect to the pixels that you have around your central pixel, that difference has actually got reduced, right? Let's say here earlier the difference was this much. Now the difference has only become this much. Okay? So you will find that whatever high value you have in your image, that will reduce, and whatever low value you have in your image, that will increase. So it will create a kind of smoothing effect on your image. And smoothing because the sharper details that you have now, let's say in this example, you had a let us say at a particular place jump like this in intensity. Now that jump has become less like this. Okay? So since this difference has got reduced, you will see that the effect on the image will be the effect of smoothing. Right? You will smooth out the image wherever sharp feature will become dull features, as you see in this image. So when you operate with the help of this filter on this image, you see that I mean all the sharp details have actually got disappear, because the intensity has got reduced, or the difference I mean with respect to high and low intensity has got reduced. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let us think about another filter, which is again a smoothing filter. But in this case, in the previous case, when you are computing the average, in this case, if you see, when you are computing the average, to get the new intensity for the central pixel, you are giving same weightage to all the pixels. So when you are computing the values here, you are and you are computing, let's say, the value here for this central pixel, then you are giving equal weightage to all its neighbors, this neighbor, this neighbor, this neighbor, all the 8 neighbors that you have, you are giving equal weightage, and then you are computing the sum, or you are computing the averages here. So whatever weight you are giving to this pixel, you are giving to this pixel also, this pixel also, this pixel also. All the neighbors are given equal weight. Okay, but now it is very obvious to think that when you are performing the operation in your big image, let's say you have a very big image here. So now with respect to the intensities, whatever similarity you are going to have for this pixel with respect to the neighboring pixels that you have, you are not going to have the same kind of relationship with the other pixels that are little far from the central pixel, like the pixel here or the pixel here or the pixel here and so on. So it is obvious to think that when you are computing the average, we should give more weightage to the pixels which are close to the central pixel and less weightage to the pixels which are far from the central pixel. So for this reason, in case of filtering, we assign variable weights, and when we assign the variable weights, we try to give more weightage to the pixels which are close to the central pixel and less weightage to the pixels which are far from the central pixel. So one of the filter which where we get such weights is the Gaussian filter. Mathematically, Gaussian filter in 2D is defined using this equation, which is G sigma xy equal to 1/2 pi sigma square e to the power minus x square plus y square divided by 2 sigma square. And if you plot this filter in 2D or in 3D space, you will see that you will get an image like this. Okay, where at the center you have a peak, and here if you see that peak is actually appearing at 0, 0. So at 0, 0, if you compute the value of this equation, you will find that it will have the highest value. But as you move away from the 0, 0 in any of the directions, you will find that the values will reduce, as you can see from the shape of this this plot. So at the peak here you have the highest value, but as you move away from the peak, you are going lesser and lesser value. So in case of Gaussian filter, the filter matrix is computed with the help of this equation, where based on the size of the filter, your x and y take different ranges, and with the help of those x and y, you can compute the weight. So for example, for 5 class 5 filter, we get this kind of weight matrix, where you see the central pixel has the highest weight, but as you move to this direction or to this direction or to this direction or to this direction, you see that the weight is decreasing. And even when you move in the diagonal direction like this here, or diagonal direction here like this, in all the diagonal directions also, when you go from central, when you move from the central pixel, the weight keeps reducing. Okay. So when we want to give more weightage to the central pixel and lesser weightage to the pixels which are far from the central pixel, we can make use of Gaussian filtering. Okay. And in this Gaussian filtering, there is a parameter which you see in this equation, which is sigma. This sigma basically defines how sharp or flat this this plot is. So when your sigma becomes high, you will find that this plot will be more flat. When sigma is low, you will find that this plot will be the sharp. That means this peak will be very sharp peak. And when a sigma becomes more, this peak may be, if we just talk in 1D, which is easy to plot. So in case of 1D, if you have, let's say, in 1D, if you have Gaussian curve with a small sigma, you may find a peak like this. But if you have a Gaussian curve with a big sigma, you may see that it is more flat. So what is the impact actually you will get for this, from this in your filter? So if your curve is like this basically says that you are giving very much importance or high importance to the pixels which are very close to the central pixel, and very less importance to the pixels which are far from the central pixel. But in this case, if you see the importance that you are, let's say, the weight that you are getting here or here is very close to what you get here and here. So when your curve becomes flat, this basically tells that you are giving more, and I mean, if you keep reducing the sigma, it basically tell you that you are giving more and more weightage to the pixels which are even far from the central pixel. What will be the limiting case? If you, let's say, what will be the thinnest peak that you can have here? So again, that the thinnest peak will be just 1 pixel wide peak, where at the central pixel you have the high value, and all the other values that you get from here are 0. If let's say you get that is small sigma. But when your sigma, let's say, becomes infinity, in that case, what you are going to get, you will see that this curve will become almost a flat curve, and in that case, it will almost give equal importance to all the neighbors. So, in some sense, you can say that when your sigma becomes infinity, this Gaussian filter turns out to be the average filter, because in average filter also the importance given to all the pixels is same. Okay, so the sigma is a very important parameter here when you are defining the Gaussian filter. So normally when we want more smoothing in the image, we consider high sigma, and when we want lesser smoothing in the image, we consider lesser sigma. Okay. And here also, if you just sum all the values that you have in your filter, you will find that they will sum to 1. Okay. Now again, when you are applying this kind of filter on your image, again you will see the kind of the kind of effect that you are going to see in your image. It is going to be the smoothing effect. So here also, when you apply this filter on this image, you get a smoothing effect, and you get this image as an output. And what you see here, I'm just saying that this is a filter, but and I'm not showing the values for the filter. I'm just plotting that filter in the form of an image. So, for example, you have a filter here like this, but when you demonstrate it with the help of an image, you see that the image looks like this. Okay. Here you see there's another example where we are trying to remove the noise from the image with the help of this filter. And for removing the noise, we are actually convolving the given image with the help of the Gaussian filter. And if you see on x-axis, on this axis, here it is telling the amount of noise present in the image. So when you move from this side to left to right like this, the first image has very less noise, second image has little more noise, and third image has high noise. And here the amount of noise is defined with the help of So first of all, the noise that we are actually considering here is Gaussian noise, and in Gaussian noise, the amount of noise is actually defined with the help of sigma. So as sigma increases, the noise also increases. So when you define the Gaussian noise with higher and higher sigma, we see that the noise becomes more and more. Okay, so this one has the least noise, and then this has a little more, and then this has the highest noise in this case. Now to remove the noise from these images, we are going to use Gaussian filter. Okay, please don't confuse with the Gaussian noise and Gaussian filter. Gaussian noise is another thing, something different than the Gaussian filter that we are considering here. Here we have used Gaussian noise to add noise to the image, but now we are going to use Gaussian filter to remove this noise from these images. So when we are moving in this direction, these images actually are being convolved with the help of a Gaussian function. The first image which is convolved the first image is actually convolved with the filter, which is obtained by considering sigma equal to 1 for the sigma in the Gaussian equation. The second row that you see here, these images have been obtained by the Gaussian filter, which has been obtained for sigma equal to 2. Okay, so sigma, as I just said, that when sigma increases, the amount of smoothing increases. Okay, so as you see, when sigma equal to 1, when you are convolving these images, these initial images by the Gaussian filter, which is obtained by sigma equal to by considering sigma equal to 1, you get this you get this row. And when you convolve the image by the Gaussian filter where sigma equal to 2, we get this image. We get these images. So if you compare the images of the second row and the third row, you see that in the third row, the blurring or the smoothing is more because we have used a higher sigma here. Right? So here you see some of the details, some of the patterns that you had in your original image, but in In this case, it's very difficult to find out those patterns, and this is just because we have increased the sigma, and that has actually created more blur, more smoothing in the image. Okay. Now let us see why we are saying that this process is this process is removing the image, removing the noise. So normally, what is noise in the given image? Whatever in any given image, if you have any intensity, if your pixel has an intensity which is not matching to the neighboring pixels, we say that that pixel is noisy pixel. So in a normal scenario, if you let's say consider this example, in the normal scenario, if you just consider a very small neighborhood in your image, you will find that the intensities in that small neighborhood that pixel have, they will be very similar. Okay, they will not be very different. If you consider a very large area, then you may find, let's say there's a pixel here and there's a pixel here, they have very different intensity. Let's say this is completely white and this is completely black. But if you consider a very small area, you will find that all the intensities will be more or less same. So suddenly, if you find that there is a pixel where the where whatever intensity it has, it is very different from the neighboring pixels, we can say that that pixel is a noisy pixel. Okay. So for example, in this case, you have a 3x3 neighborhood from the image where the central pixel has value 23, but all the other neighboring pixels have value 10, 12, 11, 11, 12, 10, 14, and 15, right? So if you just compare all the values, they are very similar, right? 10, 12, 11, 13, 14, 15, they are very close to each other. But if you compare the values, the value of central pixel with the values of the neighboring pixels, you find that the central pixel is having very different value compared to the neighboring pixels, right? So to correct this pixel, what we have to do, as I just said that in a small neighborhood, all the pixels will have very similar intensities. So since this pixel has a very different intensity compared to all the other pixels that you have in your neighborhood, this intensity needs to be changed. So how will you change? If this intensity is a very high intensity, to change it, you have to reduce the intensity. If this is a very low intensity, then you have to increase the intensity, right? These are the two ways in which any pixel can be different from the other neighboring pixels, right? Again, I'm just repeating, in the normal circumstances, in a small neighborhood, all the pixels will have same intensities. But if a pixel is noisy, its intensity will be different from the neighboring pixel. This difference can happen in two ways. Either the intensity of this pixel becomes high compared to the neighboring pixel, or the intensity becomes low compared to the neighboring pixel. Okay. So in both the cases, what we have to do, we have to actually bring, if it is a very high intensity, to match its intensity to the neighboring pixel, we have to reduce it. And if the intensity is very low, then to match it to the neighboring pixel, you have to bring it little up. So that's what exactly happened in the case of averaging. In case of averaging, very high value, if your central pixel has a very high value, after average, its value is going to reduce. And if it is having a very low value, after the averaging, it is going to increase. And I'm saying this because after performing the averaging operation by considering this a small neighborhood, which pixel is going to change its intensity? The pixel which is at the center, right? We are going to compute a new value for the central pixel. So when, let's say, we operate in this 3x3 small neighborhood and then compute the average, that average is going to be assigned to this central pixel. So if the central pixel has a very high value, it is going to be, when you are going to replace this by average, its value is going to reduce. And if the central pixel is a very low value, it has a very low value, and if you are going to replace it by the average, this value is going to increase. Okay. So in both ways, you are basically trying to bring the intensity of the central pixel close to the intensities of the neighboring pixel. And if that happens, then we can say that the pixel does not have any noise, because in case of noise, a particular pixel has intensity very different to compare to the neighboring pixel. And if it is an ideal image or correct image, the intensity of every pixel will be matching to the intensity of the neighboring pixels, right? So in this case, when you are, let's say, computing the average and replacing this 23 by its average, which is in this case 13, you find that in the newly computed image, the central pixel will have the intensity which is close to what you have in case of close to what you have in the neighboring pixels, right? So this is your 10, this is 12, this is 11, this is 11, this is, and this will become 13, this is 12, 14, 15 here, and 10. So now you see that whatever you get at the central pixel, this is now very close to what you have in the neighboring pixel. So that way you can say that the noise has been removed, because you are successful in matching the characteristics of the central pixel in terms of intensity to the neighboring pixels. Okay, so that is why this smoothing operation actually removes the noise. So whether it's a box filter or it's a Gaussian filter, in both the cases, we are going to remove the noise from the image. This can be used, I mean, I should say this can be used actually to remove the noise from the image. Okay. Now, what will be the complexity of when you are, let's say, performing this smoothing operation with the help of these filters? What is going to be the complexity of this process? So you know that let's say if your image is of size n cross n, if your image is, let's say, of size n cross n, so you will have n square pixels, and you have a, let's say, k cross k filter. So these many operations you are going to do at n square places. So the total complexity or the total number of operations actually that you are going to do here, they are n square k square. Okay. Now we'll see that by little manipulation, we will be able to change this. So this is actually this we will the reduction in will be able to do, because these filters, whether it's a Gaussian filter or the box filter, these filters are actually separable filters, which basically says that a two-dimensional filter given in case of, let's say, box filter, it can be written as a combination of two one-dimensional filters. So for example, in this case of here, let us say the box filter is bxy. So this bxy can be written as bx, which is the filter in defined in x with respect to variable x, and you have by, which is defined with respect to variable y, or you can say that this is defined in horizontal direction and this is defined in the vertical direction. So essentially this means that if you are convolving your image by this filter, it is same as convolving the image by first by this filter, and then whatever you are getting, whatever output you are getting, convolving that output by this filter. Okay, so since, or mathematically you can say that let us say you are computing, you are convolving the image I by filter B, and please remember this star operator is used for convolution. So whenever we are doing convolution operation, we write this, we use this star operation. Okay, so this is not product. Please remember this is not product. This is denoting the convolution operation. Which basically mean that this filter is being operated on all the possible pixels of image I. So this bxy can be actually can be written like this. It is bx into by. So if you are able to write bxy as bx into by, then we can say that we can first convolve ixy by bx, and then whatever output we are getting, we can convolve that by by. So when we are doing this, we'll see that the intensity, the number of operations will reduce, because in this case, by using this 1D filter, again you are going to operate at n square places, but every place you are doing k operations. Similarly, with the help of the second filter, this one, you are going to do n square k operations. So in this case, you find that the total complexity is going to be 2n square k, which was initially n square k square. So you can see that this is much lesser than what you have earlier, right? This one. And the same is true for the Gaussian filter. In Gaussian filter also the equation that we saw for the Gaussian, this can be again broken down to this expression where in the first part you have the variable x and in the second part you have the variable y. So this one will define actually the filter in x direction, and the another will define the filter in, this will define the filter in y direction. And you can say that in place of convolving the image by this filter, you can first convolve it with this filter, and then whatever output you get, that output, if you convolve with this filter, you will get the same effect. Okay, this you can understand this by this equation here. So Ixy is being convolved by Gxy, and this Gxy, if we are able to write it as Gx into Gy, then this is nothing but saying that this Ixy, this original image, is being convolved first by filter Gx and then by filter Gy. Okay, and as I just said, in case of box filter, in this case also, it is going to consume 2k n square multiplications or 2k n square operations, which is less than n square k square operations, which you need to perform if you are using the 2D filters. Okay. Yeah. Now there are some issues when we are using this averaging filter, and to understand this, let us consider a case where, let's say, one pixel in the neighborhood has a very high faulty value, and the other pixels are having the correct value. Okay. Right. So we are considering example here when we are doing everything. Let's say in your image, we are considering a small neighborhood where this this small neighborhood, all the 8 pixels have the correct value, right value, or the value which you are expecting, but at the central pixel you have a very different value, right? A spurious value, or you can say a faulty value. So now when you are doing the averaging operation, what you will do when you are performing the averaging, you will see that the intensity of this pixel will match to the intensities of the other neighboring pixels. That is fine. But when you are operating, let's say, on this pixel or on this pixel, that means when you are considering this pixel as the central pixel, or this pixel as the central pixel, or this pixel as the central pixel, what will happen? And as we are considering in this example that other than the central pixel, all the other pixels have the right intensity. So when you are going to perform a smoothing, because of this smoothing effect, all these neighboring pixels will actually get changed, because whenever you are considering all these neighboring pixels as the central pixel, one of the pixel in their neighborhood will be this central pixel. So, and because of that, you will find that because of this this pixel being spurious, all the surrounding pixels, when you are computing the new value for them, they will also get changed. Okay, so so that's what we are saying here, that this fault will now be smeared over 9 pixels, or more precisely we should say the 8 pixels around it when image is smoothed. Okay, so the effect of the central pixel, you will actually see that you will find on all the neighboring pixels. Okay, so if you consider that your noisy value is very high, then it will actually increase the value of the neighbors. In a great extent compared to what they have earlier. Okay. So how to handle this? Okay. Let me just again reiterate what I said. So in this case, we are saying that only one pixel is faulty here, the central pixel. And when you are trying to remove the noise for this central pixel with the help of everything, what we find that the intensity of the central pixel is changed to the neighboring pixels. That means it is reduced or increased based on the requirement. But because of this pixel being faulty, the intensity of this pixel or this pixel or this pixel, for all these 8 pixels, the intensity also gets changed. And if the value of this pixel is very high, then you will see that the effect on these pixels will be very high. So though the pixel had, only central pixel had the, in some sense, the wrong value, but that, if the effect of that wrong value has actually got smeared over all the other neighboring pixels, right? So that's the problem when we are using averaging filter, averaging or Gaussian filter. So this can be actually overcome if you use median filter. So in case of median filter, so this can be actually improved by using the median filter, and this median filter is actually, as I said at the beginning, that this is order statistics filter. So we'll see median filter, and then later we'll see the rank order filter. So in case of median filter, when we do the filtering, we don't compute the mean of the values that the neighboring pixels have. We compute the median of those values, and we'll see that because of this median, we will be very easily able to handle the issue that we have in case of average filter. Okay, and in case of median filter also, or in general, you can say that in case of order statistics filter also, we are going to consider a neighborhood around the pixel for which you are computing the new value. But in place of computing the weighted average or average of those intensities, we are only going to consider those values. I mean, with the help of mask, we are going to only consider those values, but we are going to operate on them in a little different way. Okay, so here also the concept of neighborhood is there, but the weighted average is not being computed. Okay, in place of weighted average or in place of computing the mean, we'll see that we'll compute the median of those values. Okay, so in this case, we'll find that the value of the central pixel is not replaced by the mean or by the average. It is actually replaced by the median of the intensities that you get by considering all the intensities of the neighboring pixel. Okay. So let us try to understand this with the help of this example. So let us say we have a case again, as we considered in the previous case. You have the values in this C-class-C neighborhood. All the pixels have almost very similar values, very values which are very close to each other, but central pixel has a noisy value, right? Like this is 33. So other pixels have value 12, 10, 15, 10, 11, 12, 11, 14, which are, I mean, if you just compare these values, you will find that they are very close to each other. But the value of the central pixel is a noisy value, and in this case, it is 33. So in case of median filter, we will consider all these intensities that you have here, and we'll compute the median of those values. How we compute the median? To compute the median, whatever values we have to actually arrange them in ascending order or in the descending order, and then whatever the central value you have in that order, that actually defines the median value. For example, here in this case, you have these 9 values, and when you arrange those 9 values in ascending order, you find this order. And in these values, 12 is coming at the middle. So you can say that for all these values, 12 is the median of these values. Okay? So when you are doing the median filtering, and with respect to the central pixel will be replaced by the value 12. Okay, so here also we could actually make this central pixel same as the neighboring pixels, right, which was actually the intention. If you are saying that this is noisy pixel and it needs to be improved, how we should improve this? We should make the intensity of the central pixel same as what you have on the surrounding pixels, right? So that has been exactly done here. Whatever the new intensity you are getting for the central pixel, it is again now close to what you have in the surrounding pixels. Okay, but now let us take an example and see that this kind of filter is not going to distribute the noise that you have in the central pixel in the surrounding pixels. Okay, as you see here. So let us say in this example, you have this side you have 200 100 values, and on this side you have 200 values. Okay, so you can say that in your image, this particular half of the part is, let's say, little black, and this side is little white. So you will see that there is a kind of intensity jump at the middle on this line here. Okay. Now, if you compute the mean of all these values, you will find that when you are computing the mean, let's say by considering this 3 cross 3 neighborhood, you will see that in the majority you will have, I'm sorry, so 3 cross 3 neighborhood, which is coming up till this point. So when you are computing, doing the median filtering, considering all these neighbors, you will find that the 100 is in majority. So the output that you are going to get, and for which pixel you are going to get this value, for this central pixel, because 3 cross 3 neighborhood is surrounding this central pixel. So for this 100, this pixel which has 100 value, what is the new value you are going to get? Again, you are going to get 100 because 100 is in the majority. Okay. Similarly, if you consider the another 3 cross 3 neighborhood this side, and then compute the value for this central pixel, you will see that you are going to get the same value 200 for this central pixel also. So when you perform this kind of filtering, since in the majority you have good values, that goodness is actually, I mean, like, because of those values in being in the majority, when you are computing the median, it is not dominated by the pixel which has very high intensity. Okay? So this way, if you just compute if you filter your image with the help of median filter, you will find that your sharp edge, if you have in your image, that will remain sharp. It will not blur. Okay. So after computing this, you're going to get again same kind of output, and the same output is actually saying that whatever sharpness you had at this place in your image, that is maintained. Now the question comes, where is it applicable? So this kind of filtering is actually applicable when you find that in your neighborhood there are few faulty pixels. Majority of the pixels are good, but few of them are faulty. So there you can make use of this. So one of the examples where this can be applicable is the paper and salt noise. And you see this example here with paper and salt noise, where the pixels are either they have got, because of the noise, they have either got turned very white or very much black. Okay, and that is why we call this noise as salt and paper noise. Like salt is white, paper is black. So here you find that there are pixels which are very black, and some of them are very white. Okay, so in such cases, this median filtering can be applicable. In case of rank order filters, we do exactly same what we do in case of median filtering, but in case of median filter, we consider the median of the values as an output. But in case of rank order pixel, we consider some nth order value as an output. So here also you are going to sort your values in ascending or descending order, but in case of considering the median as your output, you can consider any nth order value. So you may be, let's say, you may say that you are going to consider second value or third value or eighth value as your output. Or sometimes you may also say that you are going to consider the max of all the values, or you are going to consider the mean of all the values. So you can say that in some sense this median filter is also kind of rank order filter. Okay. In the hybrid filters, we are going to see the combination of these filters. So this doesn't define any kind of new filter, but when we apply the filters, we use a combination of these two. So that means we may be performing the convolution and then followed by, let's say, median filter or something like that. Okay. So with this, let us end this.